He's a thief. Can't you see that he's not from here? He might even be a spy from the neighboring kingdom. He looks very suspicious. Don't judge him by his appearance, Adaka. He's just a stranger that needs our help. We can't just let him be this way. Ihuoma, I'm not with you on this one. Then I stand alone if it's for good. Ihuoma might be on a good path by helping a total stranger. But what if her friend was right? Tricky, huh? Well, you won't know unless you watch to the end. So, let's find out together. Long ago in Nri Kingdom, a kingdom renowned for its prosperity in arts and agriculture, the people lived in peace and harmony. Other neighboring kingdoms were undeniably jealous of Nri's prosperity. Nevertheless, the kingdoms were able to maintain a peaceful relationship. In Nri Kingdom lived Ihuoma, a girl in her early teens and family. Ihuoma is the first daughter of her father's second wife. Aside her stunning beauty, she was intelligent and creative. The other wives of her father also had sons and daughters, older and younger than Ihuoma. Yet, Ihuoma was the most outstanding. Days passed and events occurred. None was out of the ordinary until that fateful day. Ihuoma was sitting a few steps away from the family's hut, making beads, when a girl ran towards her, shouting her name. Ihuoma was startled as the girl approached her, gasping for breath. "What is it?" Ihuoma asked in a low voice, trying not to draw others' attention, recognizing the girl that approached her as her best friend's younger sister. "My sister said you should meet her at the stream," the girl said. "Why? Is anything wrong?" Ihuoma asked curiously. The girl grinned, seeing that Ihuoma was startled. "I had to run all the way here because my sister says it's something exciting," the girl said. Afterwards, she left, running with the same speed at which she arrived, giggling with enthusiasm. Ihuoma went in to keep the bead she was making. She was indeed curious about what exciting thing her best friend Adaka had to show her. Adaka, just like Ihuoma, is intelligent and could even be more inquisitive. Ihuoma smiled, recalling the time when they had gotten lost in the woods while trailing a human bird. Every moment the friends spent together was an adventure. Ihuoma's parents ever since were against their relationship, but who could separate birds of same feathers? Ihuoma finally sneaked out through the back door in order to avoid drawing attention and left to meet Adaka. As Ihuoma approached the stream, she was taken aback by the sight of Adaka standing with her arms crossed, her eyes fixed sternly on a boy about Ihuoma's age. The boy sat on the ground, his head bowed and his eyes cast downward as if in defeat. "What is going on?" Ihuoma asked, staring at Adaka in disbelief. "What do you think?" Adaka asked, her excitement growing. "I caught a male thief all by myself." "I'm not a thief," the boy interrupted defensively, raising his head. "Shut up!" Adaka shunned him harshly. "What were you doing on my uncle's farm, if not to steal?" she queried him. "I already told you, I am from another kingdom. I and my father's men were going on an important journey. We were attacked by a group of masked people. I ran away in fear and lost my way," the boy explained, looking frustrated with Adaka's reasoning. Adaka kept arguing with the boy while Ihuoma began to think. She observed that the boy's outfit was not made from common materials. His accent also seemed different from theirs, even though they spoke the same language. It also seemed like the boy indeed had a bad day, as he was looking exhausted and a bit tattered. "My father's men would come searching for me. I just need a place to rest my head till then," the boy said. At that point, Ihuoma felt genuine concern for him, that she considered taking him home. Adaka, on the other hand, advised against it. insisting that it was risky to trust strangers. After a while of arguments, Ihuoma led the boy home, leaving Adaka behind. The sun was beginning to set when Ihuoma arrived home with the strange boy. They were greeted by an unusual silence. No one was in sight, and even the goats and sheep were caged. Ihuoma was worried because on other days, by that time, her step-siblings would be seen roaming the compound while their mothers were preparing dinner. Notwithstanding this, Ihuoma seized the opportunity to make the strange boy comfortable. She led him to her chamber, took clothes from her brother's hut, and gave to the boy, since his clothes were looking tattered. She also made a quick meal from her mother's kitchen and brought to him. The boy thanked her with sincerity in his eyes. While he was changing his dress, Ihuoma excused herself and went to sit outside in front of the hut. Night was drawing closer and none of her family members were yet to be back. While Ihuoma was carried away by different thoughts, suddenly she began to hear footsteps in group approaching. The shadow casted by the lamps of the people approaching made it even clearer that they were coming in large numbers. Ihuoma became alerted. She stood up and rushed to hid by a corner. As she watched, she realized that the people suddenly began to disperse and her only family members walked into the compound. Ihuoma heaved a sigh of relief, coming out of her hiding place. Her mother and co-wives were discussing intensely. Curiosity got the best of Ihuoma, but since it was rude to interrupt elderly ones, she rushed to her siblings to ask what was going on. "Where were you?" Adane, Ihuoma's elder sister, asked her. The king summoned everyone to the village square for an emergency meeting, but you were nowhere to be found. Ihuoma lied that she was busy with helping her grandmother at the stream, that she was unaware of the king's summon. Although Adane did not believe her, she reluctantly explained what was discussed at the village square. Ihuoma's curiosity rose as she realized what was at stake. It happened to be that some potential men of Arochukwu kingdom had visited the king very early that morning. They claimed that their heir to the throne was on an important trip when the people of Nri kingdom attacked them and took their prince hostage. They also threatened to make war with people of Nri kingdom if their prince is not found. Ihuoma went back inside to check on the boy she had brought home. He was sitting on the floor, heads bowed just as he was when she met him at the stream. She wanted to tell her mother about the stranger she brought, but she didn't want to worry her mother further. Her mother, together with the other wives, were all looking very worried, as they believed the people of Arochukwu had finally found a reason to make war with them. Should they start war now, they would focus on destroying our crops and seizing our markets, Ihuoma's mother lamented as her co-wives listened. I know they have been waiting for this opportunity since. I hope their prince will be found on time to save us this pending trouble, the third wife added. Ihuoma decided to let the strange boy pass the night in her chamber without anyone's awareness. That night, they talked about so many things before finally falling asleep together. Nevertheless, the boy did not for once mention his name to Ihuoma, nor the name of his kingdom. Ihuoma, on the other hand, was rather carried away by the seemingly friendly bond that grew between them in just few hours that she forgot to ask. The next day, the search for the missing prince began. The king of Nri kingdom had allowed the men from Arochukwu kingdom to go on with their search for their prince. He even agreed, when they insisted on behalf of their king, that anyone found to be holding their prince hostage would be taken with them as slave to Arochukwu. The king of Nri kingdom was obviously trying to avoid being at war with the people of Arochukwu kingdom, knowing for their military power. The search started from the places at the outskirts of the village, where it would take some days before the search gets to the place Ihuoma lived with her family. Ihuoma urged the strange boy to stay indoors, not wanting to startle her family with his presence. She would bring in food from home, sneak in her brother's clothes for him, wake him at dawn to bathe, and slowly they became very attached to each other. Few days later, Ihuoma's siblings began to suspect Ihuoma's newly found attitude. They noticed that she spent most time indoors, which was unusual for someone as lively and social as Ihuoma. Her mother also began to notice that the size of food Ihuoma took for herself was doubled. Her brothers also complained that their clothes went missing, but no one thought about observing Ihuoma further, since everyone was busy with their personal business. One day, Ihuoma was sitting inside her chambers with a strange boy. They were both discussing in low tones as Ihuoma taught him how to make beads. When suddenly, the sound of a gong was heard outside. Ihuoma stopped what she was doing and went to look out of the window. She saw her father talking out with some people that dressed in some strange attire. Her siblings, mother, and stepmothers were also gathering outside. She says that the search had finally reached her family's house. She became tensed. She was worried her family would finally find out that she had been keeping a boy in her chamber without their awareness. "What is wrong?" the boy asked her, noticing her fearful excitement. "People from Arochukwu Kingdom claims that their prince is missing. They are here to search our place today," she explained. The boy became alerted upon hearing this. "There's no reasons to panic. As long as you stay inside, nothing would go wrong," Ihuoma said to the boy. "Since you are not the supposed prince, nothing would go wrong," she said again with a reassuring smile, and joined her family outside, promising to introduce the boy to her parents after the search, hoping they could help him find his own people. The search immediately commenced. The men started from Ihuoma's father's hut. When they went into Ihuoma's hut to search, they surprisingly stayed longer inside. Ihuoma felt uneasy at this, but pretended to be calm. After a while, the men came out of the hut with mixed feelings etched on their faces. One of them was holding a wrist bead, the same bead the strange boy had been wearing all along. He walked up to Ihuoma's father and explained that the bead looked familiar. Ihuoma watched in confusion as her father insisted that she was a lover of arts and must have made the beads herself. The men also seemed confused as they left the beads and walked away. Ihuoma rushed to her chamber, wanting to find out from the boy what had happened. But to her surprise, the boy was nowhere to be found. The window of her hut facing towards the backyard was wide open. Ihuoma sensed the boy must have run away through the window. She wanted to call out his name. Only then did she realize that the boy had never mentioned his name to her. She felt guilt for hiding him all those while. She also was worried if he was fine, and at the same time, she was hurt by the thought that he had hid his identity from her. Days later, a joyous announcement was made. The Arochukwu prince had been found somewhere far away at the borders of Nri Kingdom. "Thank God the Arochukwu people will have no reason to make war with us," Ihuoma heard her stepmothers gossiped happily. Time passed by, but the strange boy still felt a significant place in Ihuoma's heart. That she wears his bead to the stream, farm, and even to sleep. The Nri Kingdom continued to maintain peaceful relationship with the neighboring kingdom, and specifically avoided conflict with Arochukwu. 10 years later, Ihuoma had grown into a beautiful woman. She was intelligent and cheerful. Adaka still remained her best friend. The two young women were known for their exceptional crafting and weaving skills. They were resourceful and creative thinkers. Children were also fond of them as they made out time to gather them for storytelling. Sometimes, when there was a dispute at home or in the market, One would either suggest to take the matter to the elders or Ihuoma and her best friend. Soon enough, they became the dream woman of most men. Mothers also admired them and wished their daughters to be like them. Ihuoma's mother was proud of this and hopes her daughter finds a good husband as soon as possible. One day, Ihuoma was busy in the kitchen with her mother. Her siblings were also busy with other things, as well as her stepmothers. Suddenly, her father rushed into the compound, breathing heavily. This set the whole family into panic as they stopped what they were doing to find out what was wrong. The Arochukwu people are at it again. He lamented after calming a bit. He explained that the people from Arochukwu Kingdom had raided one of their biggest markets, claiming that the Nri people were caught trespassing on their land. Those people are just looking for reasons to make war with us. Ihuoma's mother wailed, "We don't want war. They even went away with some of our people as slaves." Her father continued, "They will definitely come back again. Everyone should be careful, Biko," Ihuoma's elder brother suggested. Ihuoma's thoughts were consumed by the growing tension between Nri Kingdom and Arochukwu. It was indeed obvious that Arochukwu's intention was to subjugate the Nri Kingdom, forcing them to pay homage and tributes. As Ihuoma pondered these things, her thoughts drifted back to 10 years ago when she had met the strange boy. She was wearing the bead he left with her even at that moment. She missed him, wondering what had become of him since he disappeared. From then on, the Nri people began to work in groups and stay alerted, but months passed and the Arochukwu people made no raids on Nri Kingdom. The people of Nri became relieved and let their guard down. Ihuoma was at the market the day it happened again. People were buying and selling. Some were just walking about with no specific intentions. Ihuoma was helping her mother to sell vegetables when an old man walked up to her. "See how everyone is feeling nonchalant about the last raid by Arochukwu people," the old man muttered to Ihuoma's surprise. He was looking sternly at her. "Not every person in Arochukwu is bad. They just have a greedy ruler and council of elders," the old man said again without even asking for the price of vegetables. "What do you mean, Nna?" Ihuoma asked. But the old man continued, ignoring her question. 10 years ago, they tried to kill the prince with the intention of framing our people. Although their plan failed, they would stop at nothing to defeat Nri Kingdom, except a good ruler stepped in. 10 years ago? Ihuoma asked alarmed. "That prince, the heir to the throne, has a good heart. He will definitely stop these unrighteous acts. Unfortunately, they keep trying to harm him." "I don't understand. Would the king try to kill his own prince?" Ihuoma asked, but the old man refused to reply her. "Why are you telling me these things?" she asked again. This time, the old man just turned and left. Ihuoma didn't even have the time to ponder about this because just as the old man left, the market erupted in an uproar. "The Arochukwu people are at it again, oh!" People were screaming. Weapons flew in the sky. Tables were turned upside down. People's goods were destroyed. Ihuoma began to run away with her mother in fright. As she was running, she mistakenly dashes her foot against a stone and fell. The bead the strange boy had left with her fell off her wrist in the process. She stood up to run again, but stopped to pick up the bead as it was dear to her. Just as she picked it and wore, a sharp, shiny sword was lowered towards her jaw. Looking up, she realized what was happening. She had just been captured by an Arochukwu warrior. Her fate as a slave in Arochukwu Kingdom flashed before her eyes. This made her heart sink. Wow, this is crazy. She's captured at last. Do you think this wouldn't have happened if she didn't help that stranger in the first place? Well, I'm sure part 2 will satisfy our curiosity. or the unexpected might even happen. Subscribe to be the first to get the part 2, and also check out other amazing stories on this channel. Bye!